So, when we say that we want to foster the Greek the technology ecosystem, we definitely have advisors and people who are helping us. That's very, very important. I would like to welcome on stage my co-host for the panel today, Stavros Messinis. And thank him for all the support he gives to us.
Αυτό παίζει.
You're amazing.
Where do
man.
I sit?
Where do you want?
Anywhere? I'll take the edge. Matina, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for helping us.
It's the edge. You know, you've got to be on the edge when you're innovating, right? Like literally on the edge, just before everything kind of falls apart. And this man, one of our local heroes, debugged the problem earlier on, right? He wasn't allowed to use the PowerPoint, but he said, you know, I'll figure it out. He figured it out, but thank you for everything you do, sir. I'll take a seat and you can invite everyone else, shall I? Okay.
Now I would like to call one by one our panelists. Alexius, Diakogiannis, welcome to stage. Dimitris, Andreadis, welcome to stage. You may be seated. I will take the other edge. Okay. Anni, Panagiotopoulou, welcome. I'm also expecting for Dimitris Dimitriadis. Is he here with us?
Dimitris from the future.
In 5 minutes.
He's from the future. He's a futurist after all. He'll come in the future.
Actually, yes.
Right,
yes.
good.
Okay. So we can start. And when Dimitris comes, okay, perfect. So, hi everyone, welcome. Tell us a few things about yourselves. You can start, of course, Alexius.
Okay, I'm Alexius Diakogiannis. I'm a senior Java architect at the European Investment Bank in Luxembourg. I've been there in Luxembourg almost now 4 years. Mm-hmm. Before that, I was in Greece in several sweatshops producing high-end software for mostly the EU. Before that, I had a startup that was doing innovative trainings and consulting. I have 2 cats, so sorry, where was the dog person? I cannot see him. Okay, sorry, I have 2 cats and a dog. And that's about me. The dog is here. My 2 cats, they're accompanying me for the last 14 years, since they were babies, all out my career and worries, and they are with me in Luxembourg.
Perfect. Dimitris Andreadis, tell us a few things about yourself.
Yeah, okay. So I'm engineering director at Red Hat, working on open source. I live in Switzerland for 11 years now. Let's say my 2 major, contributions to open source is like the JBoss application server, which was a big thing. It disrupted the application server industry. And then it's the Quarkus project, which we're very proud for the past 5 years or so. And I wanted to say that it's relevant to the award you just gave to Diomidis. Probably one of the reasons I'm here is also him without knowing, because it was 1988. There was no internet back then. There were bulletin board systems. So you dial in with your modem, and there was some kind of forum, and you found information. And I liked C code a lot, so I was looking into the International Obfuscated C code contest, whatever.
And that is obfuscated.
Yeah.
The title itself.
So we're in 88. So I was going through the entries. Oh, this is great. You know, like, wow, what code is? And I saw a Greek name. You know, Diomidis Spinelis, and I was, wow, there's a Greek guy there. You know, this is very advanced, like very cool stuff. And
there's a Greek everywhere, my friend.
Yeah, and I thought, yeah, maybe I can do that. You know, like, well, I didn't participate in the contest, but you know, you get this idea that you can do like really cool stuff. Like, you know, it's possible. So thanks, Diomidis. Yeah.
And Anni Panagiotopoulou.
Hi, I'm Anni. So my background is engineering. I come from Thessaloniki. And am I the only one who has been abroad and returned to Greece? Because I was 9 years in the Netherlands, and now I live in Athens. What I do, I turned from engineering to management and sales, and now I run my own company. I started a company here in Greece, and we do everything around sales for technical companies.
That's actually the theme also of our panel, the stay or return dilemma. So we have all of you guys here to tell us why don't you come back, or why you did come back, and what is the situation in abroad regarding culture, salaries, education, people mindset, and what are the differences here? So I would like to start with Alexios, who is living abroad for the last 4 years.
Yes.
I know you're considering not to come back, but tell us why.
I'm actually most certain that I will never come back. Okay. I want to mention something here that the first, let's say, thought about moving abroad actually came from this guy, okay, that we met by chance in a conference in 2016. And he was explaining to me the situation abroad, his family issues with the adjustments and all that. And it was the first point that made me think, maybe I'm doing something wrong here. So, and a lesson learned is that when you are in doubt, just reach out and ask for people. Now, the initiator for me to leave the country was actually the unsafety that occurred over the country, all over the country during the COVID season. Okay, so I've been through several crises in Greece, as all of us. Okay, but the COVID crisis was the one that told me that maybe I need to move to a different country and more, let's say, economically stable. Okay, so after doing research, I called a friend that was actually on the same conference that I met Dimitris, and I decided to move to Luxembourg. The main differences between Greece and Luxembourg is the culture. It is a complete different culture, and it's a more sustainable culture, a more peaceful culture. And the first thing that you see when you move to a country like that of the Central Europe and stuff is a developed safety net that is around all people. For example, if I get fired, okay, from my work, I'm getting paid for 1 extra year my salary, full salary, 100%, regardless of the salary. I think there is a cap, but it's quite high. On the second year, I'm getting paid 60% of my salary, and the landlord cannot kick me out, for example, okay, because I don't have any money to pay him because of that. My health insurance still stands. So you feel safe from the minute that you actually are out of your probation period in any work. It was not the first, but one of the very few times that a company actually notified me that I haven't declared my overtime, so I need to declare it because I need to get paid. Okay, at first I thought it was a joke, but it turned out not to be. Okay, so that is the main thing that you see when you move abroad. Of course, the difficulties are quite a lot, especially when you go to a country that speaks a different language that you don't know. For example, I didn't know French, but in the long term, you tend to realize and you tend not to miss the things that you left behind. You get reminded the things that made you leave. So that's my initial approach.
Okay, thank you very much. Stavro?
Let me ask a question. Because that first theme was around security. Right? And generally that's what makes us move away from a stressful situation or a difficult situation. And you mentioned you went through a number of crises. But here in Greece, we eat crisis for breakfast, right? We eat crisis like a crisis is our feta with carpouzi, right? That's exactly what it is, right? Like, give me crisis. I thrive on crisis. All of you thrive on crisis. All of you thrive on solving problems. You thrive on it. So if we were to ask the dilemma, if there's a dilemma of whether we stay or we go, I mean, I would respond saying, wherever you are, there will be a certain type of crisis at some point. It just depends how much feta you want with your karpouzi, right? That's watermelon for our non-Greek speakers. We eat. You should try our type of crisis, which is feta cheese with watermelon. Amazing taste. The results are amazing, and that's also the result of when you're in Greece and you manage to survive yet the other crisis. I think it's a wonderful thing. I'm quite happy you're taking a vacation from crisis, sir. That's good. And when you do choose to come back, because you will be back. You will be back. The famous last words, I'll never go back, but you will be back. That flavor of you, or that rest you've had, if you like, from crisis, will have served you well, and I think you will come back and contribute positively to our wonderful society that we're growing here.
Why do you believe that the people that are living abroad do not contribute to the Greek society?
Oh no, I don't mean
Because,
that you're
for example,
not contributing. You certainly are contributing.
A small example.
And the work that your organization is doing in Greece is amazing work, and I'm very grateful that that's happening, because that's how society should work. The partnerships are there, and the partnerships need accountability, and the partnerships need trust, and this is what we're building. Because we are, after all, a young country, right? We're only 200 years old as a country. Right? The US is only a few years older than us, but certainly, I don't mean that you're not contributing. Of course you are. But yeah, that's my comment. So I think that's the role I'll take in this panel. This panel has been very well prepared, I should warn you, but I've come here to fuck shit up, right? So let's continue. Let's continue. Matina, back to you. Oh, I think Anni, you wanted to say something.
Actually, I wanted to add something on what you said, because I felt exactly what you were describing. I was 9 years abroad. I kind of felt I had the security that you are describing. Like, I studied there, I had a job there, a second job, an amazing career. And at the same time, I was lucky enough that I was protected, because the whole crisis was happening in Greece, and I was not here. It was all coincidental, because that's when I graduated from the university, and it just happened. And then at some point, I felt what you were saying. I felt, the urge to come back. And I had taken my vacation, right? I was well rested, and then I was talking to my friends here in Greece, and they were like, all, in this, I don't know, all wanted to do something, but they were like depleted out of energy, and I had the energy. And that's why I came back, actually, because the framework of security had kind of come within me.
So we agree. When the big crisis was here in Greece, and now it's there, if you are outside and you are rested, after that you are free to come back and put all the energy. But all of us that had to sustain the last 10 or 15 years, through heaven and hell, we deserve a rest and go out. That's so we completely agree.
On that, Alexi, how many of you were here during those 3, 5, 7 crises that we've had over the last 15 years? Fucking everyone.
Super.
Almost, right? Yeah. Almost everyone. I mean, you're still here. You still survived, right? You're still doing it. You're still doing it, right?
I'm not saying that you're not going to survive.
Of course you are.
I'm saying, what I'm saying is that you need to check for your potential, around Europe.
Sure.
Sure.
And
to see what
and exposure to other markets, other ecosystems, very, very important. So definitely
because in the end of the
time
day,
across.
you will going to get culture, you will going to get supplies, you will going to get everything, and you will contribute them to your homeland and mainland.
Yeah. So in terms of the dilemma, for personal reasons or personal development reasons, it's of course very important to be exposed to other ecosystems, other societies, other cultures, so that you can grow as an individual. And if you do grow as an individual, you do end up contributing to your family, your extended society, your neighborhood, etc. All these wonderful things that we aspire to achieve. But if you let me talk more on this microphone, I will continue forever. So let's let somebody else talk.
You're a moderator. You can do anything you want. You're a moderator. You can
I'm
do
not a
anything
moderator.
you want. So, but apart from that, this is actually the theme of the discussion is the dilemma. Some of us want to return, some of us don't want to return. So this is what we're trying to analyze here. Alexis doesn't want to come back. Okay, we understand what exactly you're talking about, the safety. But Anni did return because she found
Stavros did return.
And Stavros,
Also.
of course, and Stavros. On the other hand, Dimitris also hasn't returned yet. He's been living in Switzerland
He's here for the
many
important
years.
occasions, like open conference.
But
He's always here for this
I
conference.
would definitely like to know why Dimitris is living still in Switzerland and why hasn't he come back?
Yeah, okay, so this is a highly personal choice, obviously. There are many good things you can learn abroad, opportunities, all this stuff. It depends a lot on the phase of your life, where you are. And it's easier, of course, when you don't have a family or a partner. But when you have a partner, family, like my kids now are the age where they just would hate like moving. But also they're old enough that soon they would be on their own, and I will be more free to, have more choices. So yeah, I mean, that's for me, it's a very important factor, the family, obviously. Yeah, and there's no right or wrong solution answer.
Do you believe that your kids will get better education abroad than they would have here in Greece?
Yeah. Okay. So when we moved there, it was one of the primary reasons, to learn languages. So we moved to Switzerland, it's multilingual. So now they speak almost 4 languages, and for me it's like super exciting because I barely speak some French, which was a problem because we went there and everyone spoke French. So I think this is a hard asset that it's hard to gain otherwise. Yeah. Languages take years to perfect, and it's just
Incidentally, the Greek parent has spent 26 billion euros teaching their children English over the last 25 years.
Yeah.
It's a big investment, huh?
Yeah,
for us to stay in Greece and not go
just
abroad.
To finish that, the other reason was we wanted a talent. Like when we left, we had it easy. I had 2 grandmothers close by. You can imagine the social network. And our life was just too easy. So we wanted a challenge. We thought, what to do? Yeah, let's move.
Let's create a crisis and leave Greece.
A place I don't speak the language. And yeah, we did just
You
that.
didn't bring the grandmothers with you?
Well, I tell you now, if you go to the Aegean flights, there are so many grandmothers on the flights. It's true.
Are you going to talk about the Greek mother at all? Πρέπει να μιλήσουμε για την Ελληνίδα μάνα. We have to. Is this Dimitris? The future is here, ladies and gentlemen. I think he needs to put a microphone on. I'll give you mine, Dimitri. I'll give you my microphone. I've already spoken too much.
Yeah, the Greek mother is devastated to see their kids like
So,
go abroad.
what would be a good reason for you that has decided to live abroad? What would be the best reason for you to come back? Pension?
Yeah. Well, no. It will be a very interesting team to work with. Some project that's super exciting.
Dimitriadis, thank you very much for joining us.
Dimitri has the most interesting tattoos amongst all of us.
I flew from Zambia, but I did a marathon in order to be here. Not
tomorrow
a
is a
natural
marathon.
one.
Did you run a marathon in Zambia? Because those guys run, man. Those guys can run.
From airport here, everything was. If I was going by foot and running, it would be easier. By car, inevitable.
So we're talking about the dilemma of staying versus leaving and coming back or not coming back. Tell us about the future.
The future is remote and virtual only. We like the physical presence and the ability to have osmosis and to touch each other, but we can work remotely. We can work in the metaverse. We can work like avatars. We can work like holograms.
Do we care where we are working from, Greece or abroad?
If you can be an avatar working for a US company and having your feet in the sand is better. So better to be in Greece, for example, and to work for...
I think it's best to have the choice. You choose, you have the choice. Somebody wants to work from the Switzerland because it has amazing education, you do that. I want to work from Greece because I hated the weather in the Netherlands, I do that. But the secret is work remotely and decentralized as long as you can, because you have to have teams that can work in that direction, right? You have to have partners who are educated to work in that direction.
Yeah, the magic word is the option, to have the option to do it.
Options
But
equals more security.
the mega trend is remote, decentralized, not the other way around. Because we hear a lot, all the big companies, big fives, bringing people back because they invest in real estate and they need an option to monetize that. And even Apple built a huge thing and is abandoned right now. Why? Because the megatrend wasn't there. They did it out of just to have a huge park.
I agree, and I also work with blockchain and AI a lot, and this is the trend, decentralized, asynchronous collaboration. But then you have to consider Greece and the mindset here, and how we're trying to change the mindset, especially, it's even Apple and Microsoft, but also the big companies here, they are bringing people back to the office.
I have a question. Antetokounmpo does not score a three-pointer from home, right? He needs to be on the court. What kind of three-pointer are we going to be, three-pointers, right? Three-pointers are we going to be scoring in the future, given that we're working more remote? Are the three-pointers going to be a different type of three-pointer?
No, why? Sports is a whole different thing. We are knowledge workers, okay? We don't score three-pointers in the actual field. So in the future, the three-pointer will be us working with our digital twin, together with our digital twin, and working in the presence of an AI co-pilot, and the three of us can do actual things, not the other way around. Okay, Antetokounmpo will sweat in the floor and do the whole huge things that he does, but you will not consume it in the field. You will consume it in your living room and seeing the actual thing right there and feeling the heartbeat of Antetokounmpo in XR suite, probably.
With a VR headset.
A small comment here. This is true, provided that your line of work allows you to do it. For example, you cannot have a network engineer working remote and passing cables in Zambia, okay, for a company in the Netherlands.
Yeah, the network engineer won't be patching cables.
Yeah, yeah. Well, okay. Excuse my wording, okay. I'm only a software architect, sorry. Okay, and in order to be able to achieve what you are expressing, there is a big issue which is called legislation. So the legislation inside the EU needs to change so that you are able to get hired, actually, from wherever you live in Europe. A problem, for example, with Luxembourg is that you cannot live outside 150 kilometers of the borders. Okay, you can get hired. So if and you are allowed to work several months, okay, per year outside this radius, but in principle, okay, you need to be somewhere near. So if we're going to push to this direction, it's not only about the mentality and the technical changes and the avatars and all that. It's pushing a bit upwards in order to change the legislation within the EU, allowing for this digital nomad to go and work wherever he
They will
wants.
never going to agree because they will be losing money and tax and
So tax is an issue.
One thing that I want you to have in mind is that I'm not using technology as technology. Have in mind that technology is a metaphor, okay? The metaverse isn't a thing yet. We don't know what is the metaverse. We try to define it, but we don't. I want you to think it as a metaphor, as a thing that even the future is not. We don't have one future. There are multiple futures, and we are working towards our desirable one.
Our future was better
Yeah.
when you arrived, because when it started, the present, when we started, you weren't here, and the future was questionable.
I'm
Right?
really
And
glad
then-
that
and then
I
you showed
make
up.
at least your preferable future.
Can I say something? I'm not impressed because we've been working since 2004 remotely.
Exactly.
Personally from Greece, and back then it was like science fiction. I was telling my friends, I'm gonna work remotely. No, it's a scam. They will take your money or work for free. And then, when I saw them my first paycheck, they started believing. So it's not like it's very common now. it's
I
like
don't know
totally.
if it's so common because I was actually hiring somebody fresh out of the university, and I'm looking for people with some technical knowledge or sales or business knowledge, and I'm telling them, okay, we work with my partners. We work completely remotely, asynchronously. I only want to know that you guys will get the job done. I mean, that's all we care. That's how I want to work, right, with such partners. And the guy is like 22 years old, and he's like, so I'm not going to have to go to the customer? I'm not have to go there? No, you do everything remotely. Because if you want to work from Greece for Switzerland or for Luxembourg, you have to do it remotely. So I was kind of taken aback because I expected, that this would be more in the,
And
inside
one
the
thing as
people.
regards to legislation is that we are getting there really, really fast. Imagine that in Greece, for example, we didn't have a registration system for remote workers before COVID. We invented it through.
And for some reason now companies want the people to go back to work. They want to
Yeah,
stop
because they want
remote
to
working.
utilize the real estate. Before COVID, they invested millions of euros in order to acquire offices and grow organically and do all that stuff and have ping pong and yoga balls, which is not making sense. After COVID, the transformation came super vigorously without waiting anyone, and now they have really nice real estate and pink offices with moss in the walls.
Empty.
And no employees, exactly. So the case is they didn't listen to the employees. They did the traditional stuff without even foresighting one thing, which is simple. Where is the actual humans? Because humans, they don't like friction. They want to remove friction from everything. This is why we get fat, okay? Because we don't
This
like
is the
friction.
reason?
Yeah. You don't like friction, yeah. Yeah, low calories thing, they have friction.
But
Okay, we're moderating back the conversation, back to the original scope, to the stay or return dilemma. Okay, so I would like to know, Anni, you moved abroad. You had some education, got here, and you started working there, and you got education there, you brought back some knowledge. Do you think that students here have enough knowledge to go abroad and start working, or there is a gap between that? Do you think that Greece is left behind a few years in terms of high technologies are not happening in Greece? High technologies are not being educated in Greece, for example. Do you believe something like that happens?
absolutely, I think that I have an engineering degree, and I think that students from Greece are absolutely fully equipped to work abroad. The thing that we don't have is the self-confidence. And that's what I saw coming again and again, because I went there early on, and then I helped many friends also find a job abroad, and I found they had amazing hard skills, but they didn't have the soft skills. And that's the self-confidence and knowing how to ask what they want for and claim it. And maybe this is because, of all the crisis that we went through. And I also had to build it myself, I want to do this, I want this for my career path, I want the next step. But I think educational-wise, I think we're really good, amazingly good.
Okay. So, Dimitris, you are into AI. Do we need to educate people how to become the new age employee, get some new skills in order to be equipped for AI?
Upskilling and reskilling in
yes.
general is not a new thing. As regards knowledge workers in the ICT sector, is a continuous thing because there is no people doing programming that says, okay, I learned Fortran during my ages and I'm fine with Fortran.
If you learn Fortran today,
You will be very good at math without doing nothing.
big dollars.
In any case, so you need upskilling and skilling constantly. Now the theme is the same with everyone. Everyone, even workers, even actual field workers, they need to upskill and reskill in order to operate machinery. So the theme is AI is not going to take your job. A human using AI will. So you need to upskill and reskill immediately, whatever you do, whatever, even if you are a math teacher.
Exactly, but in Greece, do we have AI technologies? Do we have, train models, or we
Imagine that-
just consumers here?
No. If we have the market, we don't. We don't have the market. We are a very small market. But for the people here, who cares about the addressable market? You can find a job in a company that addresses a market that can pay you enough. So upskill and reskill now, try to learn new things in order to be useful and do something that is not obsolete in 1 year. Because I will give you an example. You are a graphic designer, okay? And you learn Photoshop and all the things. It's not the tools that will get you hired. It's the actual, you know about communication, you know about aesthetics, you can communicate, you can problem solve. So the soft skills that you have will get you hired. Not that you use Photoshop or that you use Illustrator. If you see right now, you can prompt Illustrator and Photoshop like that, and you can create a really ugly thing if you're not a designer. If you're a designer, you can create a nice thing fast. So upskilling and reskilling is the thing, the number one thing for everyone. And from my perspective, the ICT people are easier to understand these things because they were there. 20 years now, every 6 months, we have a new thing to learn, a new tool to adapt. Why? Because it's always the thing that drives innovation. We drive the innovation, not AI. Is not something new. It's 50 years out.
If I may, because regarding upskilling and reskilling, this was happening throughout the years. I have interviewed hundreds of people that wanted to switch from Delphi to Java, from testing to development, from whatever. Now it's AI. Okay, because people, for example, juniors, they want to be developers, but their first job was for testing. So and then they could not break out. So all this, it's not new. It's happening since the beginning of our line of work, and I fought several times for these people. And Anni actually is a very great example of what I'm going to say. The thing is the motive. For example, if you want to work for an AI company, because you want to work with AI, perfect. You cannot find a work in Greece. You find a work in the Netherlands. You find a work somewhere else. Go and learn it. Okay, pursue your career. Pursue the thing that wants to make you happy. In the end, okay, several of these people, for some reason, will return, like Anni. And in the end, these people that will return here, okay, will create this industry that does not right now exist here. Whatever this industry this is, okay, it is an abstract example. So what I'm trying to say, and I think what Dimitris is trying to say is that if you want to upscale or reskill or whatever, okay, pursue your dream regardless of the location. The most important thing is to be equipped with the appropriate tools to be able to communicate, like Anni said, regarding the soft skills, so that you are able to migrate and go and work wherever you want, either remotely or site. But have a goal, focus, reach out, and achieve it.
You have to exactly like this. We learn how to learn.
Yes.
And learning never ends, especially when it comes to technologies like blockchain, AI, Internet of Things. Every year we have new things. But what we miss, what at least I missed when I started abroad, was the feeling that I was in charge of my own career. And this is something that I learned being abroad, that I am in charge, I am driving my career. Mm-hmm. And I need to make these conscious decisions of learning.
Exactly, and one more slight detail. We are used to have companies that are built for performance, that are built to execute the business plan to bring the KPIs back. The thing is changing. Now, they are start or they will start in the next 1 or 2 years to build for resilience, because they understand that building for performance cannot handle a black swan, cannot handle something that will come fast. AI can be something like that. Climate crisis is something like that. So they will start building for resilience. And building for resilience is the thing that you did. You adapt really, really fast, listening the environment and your needs, and because you are resilient, you are succeeding.
But I have to say something, because it's there, what you're saying, but it's also there because you have to have the support framework.
Yeah, we agree.
Exactly. So it's like somewhere in between, because in the Netherlands, I felt I was younger, so I felt I was supported to experiment with stuff, try, fail. And being, raised in Greece, I was raised with that I cannot fail. Exactly. And the fact that I could fail in the Netherlands, I started trying things. Like I wanted to learn how to be able to talk to more people without being shy. So I started a community for, talking to more people. And then it didn't go well, so I started another community, and then I pivoted. But it was the Netherlands who gave me the framework. And then maybe this is what we miss in Greece, because coming back to Greece, this was the hardest thing for me, was that...
Yeah, we don't have the fail
and
culture.
how do we propose a solution for that? For example, is that something that can be trained in a university or somewhere? Stavros, you were trying to say something.
I'm just wondering, how many of us in this room have kids? Right? Because, we're in the game of life right now, they're in the game of life, and we're quite advanced in the level of game of life, and we're, beyond where they are. I'm not saying we're near the end, but, maybe we just need to kind of redesign certain things in the way, because you mentioned I learned how to learn. There was a very interesting experiment about 30 years ago in Japan, where there was one school who was teaching the children not geography, math, science, and all the basic subjects. They were teaching them basic maths, basic language skills, communication skills, and one more thing, how to learn. So then the idea was, here is a palette of colors for you to choose from, and we have it, which is the internet, the resources that exist out there for all of us. So perhaps we need to, as a society, as a community here, the Open Conf community perhaps we need to encourage our current, quite forward-thinking Minister of Education, that, okay, this whole upskilling, reskilling campaign that you're currently running is interesting for the workforce, but let's think about the future workforce in 15 years from today. Because, our game is up. We're in the game, and you know how it is when you guys deploy a project and how difficult it is to change the project once it's deployed? Super hard, right? Let's continue on the game of life that we're on, and maybe make some adjustments here and there, but we can't refactor the code from zero. So let's think about what we can suggest to Kyriakos about not upskilling and reskilling, but maybe, alternate skilling the kids, the 10-year-olds.
Yeah, now that I have experienced, let's say, both systems, I can tell that, at least in the Swiss system, they put some emphasis on the soft skill aspect. So you see, like the little kids, they might ask them, do a presentation, like, slides and everything, or work as a team. So I think they have a bit more of that, which is definitely good. But I want to say also that, we keep thinking about, you can work for this company abroad, blah, blah, blah. But you should actually think of how you can address the global market from here. And that's the big opportunity, because you don't necessarily have to sell to Greece only, right? All the technical stuff you can sell to the world. And this in turn allows you to be more high-tech and have career paths for technical people, to have a more, let's say, advanced ecosystem for providing service.
You're also a moderator, right, in DevOps for Kids. You participate in Scratch for Kids conferences. So you can tell us, give us the vibe. Are there many kids participating? Do you find value out of that?
This is great, and what I want to say there is, I don't think there's a systemic difference between Greece or the Netherlands.
Except for the Greek mother.
It's a systemic problem in
Not for that.
algorithmic bias.
Almost always what I find is this depends on people. So you have some people that are interested to do this, so they get together, they organize something, they might even find a sponsor. So it depends, who does it. And there's nothing magic in Switzerland for kids or even in Belgium. I know in Belgium, yes, in the Netherlands, like communities that do this stuff, they're just groups like what you have here today. People came together, you did that, volunteers. You can do that.
But it's the same. In the Netherlands, we run the blockchain network in the Netherlands. And then when I came to Greece, because I like blockchain, I joined the blockchain Athens Tech meetup. So now I run this. So it just happens. And there's the women-led initiative that I volunteer at. It's like, it happens. Communities, we help each other. But, you have to spend some time in a city to get to know what is out there for you.
So what is your advice to someone? Someone new comes to you, maybe from the women-led initiatives, a girl comes and tells you, I just finished my school. Where should I start from? What would you propose?
Well, everybody has to find what works for them specifically, right? So everything is out there, like learning. You learn how to learn. You go out there, you learn what's out there. And then, there are all these groups, but, Meetup, Facebook, Instagram, whatever, conferences. So go out there and find out what works best for you and create like your own framework of security, coming back to Greece, your own network of friends, community, tech community, whatever, you need. But it's very individual, the journey.
If I may, 10 years back, or 12 years back, me and two of my friends started a Facebook group for the three of us to put whatever stupid tech thing we found there. Right? We named the group because one wanted to be a designer, then he switched to DevOps. It was Greek developers and designers. Okay. Now it has 17,500 members. 17,500 members without doing anything. Within this group, we have fought sexual harassments, from people. We have fought for labor rights. We have fought for whatever you can imagine. We found lawyers. We found whatever without any any other motive than just to help people, and nothing more, nothing less. So what Anni is saying is right. Do whatever you wish goes well for you. But the main principle is one: reach out.
Yeah.
Whether this is Facebook, whether this is LinkedIn, my name, reach me out. You know her name, reach me out. You know everyone's name. At some point, go to conferences. This is the best baseline.
True.
Conferences and stuff. This is the best baseline. Get to know people, talk to people, don't be shy, Go and say hi. And if it wasn't, for example, for a conference back in 2016, where I met this guy over here, and another person, that actually from one acquaintance, he called me, he asked me to visit Luxembourg. I stayed at his place until I found a place to live. I wouldn't have moved. My career would have been completely different. With one acquaintance on a J Crete, in a conference in Crete, with a person that we drank for Tsipura. Yes, sorry for the Cretans. So reach out. That's the main principle.
Reach out for everything, like
Everything, yes.
legal advice, accounting advice, like tech advice, whatever. And then you find solutions out there. I don't know, when I...
One extra thing, of course, reach out, use the tools. LinkedIn it's a huge research. Start thinking, let's say, about the future. Because if you can understand and adapt to a future's mindset, to say that, okay, what I want to do, I see the AI thing going, and I want to be there in 3 years. And find who are there now, and say, okay, I want to be an engineer, I want to be a futurist, I want to be whatever, and reach out to them right now and say, I like what are you doing, I want to be you in 3 years. And this is the case. my personal story. I did a bachelor in design. I was really good in design in the Royal College of Art. Then I did a master's in UI, design interactions. And then I said, I think that data around early 2000, data is the thing. And I did a PhD in data analytics. I was a designer. I went from designing actual canvases to plotting data, okay? And during COVID, I said, fuck, I'm really off with this thing. Let's change it. And I did another in foresight. And I said, okay, and I went to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 futurists and say, I want to be a futurist. I see your work, I read your work. And now I'm setting the stage with them. Why? Because during COVID, I said, okay, I will smash my ass down to read a lot, to understand, to have some kind of master's degree on that, and start working, producing content. I wrote a book. So this is the thing. Do the work and reach out.
Do the work, for
Fake
sure.
it till you make it.
Fake it till you make it.
And fake it until you make it.
I'm wondering whether this, I'm really happy that the dilemma to stay or not stay for the last session is a decision you took to stay for the last session, because, you know, in terms of the dilemma to stay in Greece or come back to Greece or go out of Greece, etc. I mean, yeah, I mean, everyone's a free individual to make that choice, and they should make the choice along that path of life, because life is never a straight line. Mm-hmm. And, I mean, I've had the privilege of living in a few countries and finally choosing to live this part of my life in Greece and make a family here and make a business here and be part of this wonderful community here. But, I mean, what about everybody else? Who's thinking of leaving? Wow, okay, good. There's 3 or 4 people. That's good. And the rest of you are undecided.
Living or working?
Or working
abroad,
remote. There's another
remote.
question. Another question.
Because
how many of you are working for a company abroad but are taxed in Greece?
Less.
All right. I mean, the tax question. Very few people raise their hand on the tax question.
Yeah. Death and taxes
We
are bad
need
things,
that, right? We need that to happen for this society to improve.
And how many of you actually lived abroad and came back?
Okay, we have a brain gain here.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
You know, I never came back from anywhere. I studied here, I was raised here, I was lucky enough to have a job here, okay? I think this was the main reason why I stayed. If I didn't have a job here, I would go abroad. But I want to know also, Stavros, why did you come back?
Security.
Yeah?
I needed more security.
Well, South Africa, right?
I was in South Africa.
Yeah.
Okay.
South Africa was a dangerous place. It still is a dangerous place. And I have Greek heritage. I have Greek parents. And the whole family got on the same airplane, the same flight, and came to Greece. And we started from zero in Greece. Greece is a wonderful country. I wouldn't change my choice. Of course, it's been painful.
Taxation?
No.
Salaries?
Taxation is not greater than the German taxation.
Okay.
Not greater. In fact, probably less.
Culture?
I think I'm going to be smart about my taxation going forward. I'm probably going to have my digital avatar declare all the work in a low-tax
sounds like a
environment.
plan.
And I will probably be some... Dimitris is here, and he's a past Secretary General of taxation and the tax system, and we're very grateful for that, because he disrupted them, right? He did some amazing stuff those years. He really disrupted them, and we have a lot to owe. We owe a lot to that man. But sorry, I'll
One thing as regards security, because security, from your perspective, is a general thing for everyone. Why? Because after COVID, we have the Maslow pyramid of the hierarchy of needs, and security is the #1 thing of everyone. And we all need security, and we all need these basic.
You know what is below the Maslow, right? Below Maslow's, before, even
Wi-Fi.
before
Wi-Fi.
Wi-Fi,
Wi-Fi.
yeah.
So if we haven't got like, whoever's here from any of the telcos, please improve it.
But
Wi-Fi is an issue here in Greece.
one,
huh?
one small comment about that. If you want to address a question right
Yeah,
now
please
to the
do.
audience,
Yes.
please,
Please
do
do,
so,
please
and
do.
we will see it at
See, that's why I have this
Inventora.
microphone, so I can throw it at you.
We have another 5 minutes for the panel. That's why I'm asking now.
one small addition to connect to security really quick. The security thing is a huge trend also. And as regards the future and the kids, I will wear my other hat as a researcher in the Special Secretary for Strategic Foresight. And this is the actual role to plan for the unborn child, 30 years, 40 years ahead. And this is something that we need everyone to do by themselves, to start thinking, not in terms of, I will find a job for 3 years, I will find a job for 5 years, to start thinking that I would like to do something until I don't, So
We are responsible for the life of the unborn children.
exactly. Because the problems of today, no, they were the solutions of yesterday, We find the solution here now, and it will be a problem in 20 years, because we find it here. The thing is that we need to start thinking about resilience, we need to start thinking about the climate,
So I'm very glad that we all did a 360 degrees turn and returned to my initial argument, which actually led me to switch a country, security.
I'm not going to make a case of going abroad because I felt the urge to go abroad. I traveled and worked like in so many geographies, like from Canada to Hong Kong, everywhere in between. And this is something that really gave so much to me. And I understand like why people want to work and move abroad, even though today they have the option to work remotely as well. So this is something really indisputable. It offers you so much. At the same time, being able to have the choice and having all this weaponry within you, like bringing it all back in, and being able to lead your own life and put the goal, I want to do that in 5 years, and I want to make that choice happen, is also within us. But at the same time, it's also about, having these get-togethers, these conferences, where we put, important things happening in our country as well.
And one thing, because you mentioned the decentralization, we are raising our kids to grow up in 3 different dimensions, We have the physical, we have the augmented and the mixed reality, we have the virtual. These all will be also economies that will need people to make stuff. So we need to prepare our kids for 3 dimensions.
True, but it all comes to what we're saying. One should make a choice. Like, there are all these amazing events happening here, and there are more of such events should happen. You can always board a plane and go abroad, like go attend a conference abroad, go to Zambia, wherever you were, and you can, find a balance that works for you.
Exactly.
A balance
Such
of
events
everything.
should happen, but they need to reserve more time for such panels because we only
What a
have 3
great
times
line.
left for that. So I'd like to start the conclusions with that, and I want to address first Dimitris and Andreadis. Tell us, please. Conclusion, the stay or return dilemma.
Yeah.
Do we
Well,
stay
turn off
or
the
do we
lights.
go?
Message received.
Highly personal choice. Something we didn't say. I think if you talk about Europe and the rest of the world, it's totally different story. So if you're in Europe, with a plane, in 8 hours, door to door, you're everywhere, like including everything. So for me, it's a different story if I say I will move to San Francisco, and you never see Greece again, or like once a year, versus now where I can come like, I don't know, 8 times a year or something. So just decide what makes you happy. Find what makes you happy and do it, whether it's staying or living, and go for it. I think that's the major thing you have to answer.
Okay. Alexi?
I would say something that my running coach used to say to me, that you need to find your plan and your goal, because a goal without a plan is just a wish. So I would put aside the stay or return, and I would prioritize what is your ultimate goal, what do you want to see yourself after an X amount of years. If this means go, then reach out, okay, plan and go. If this means that for any reason you want to come back, come back. But first, prioritize what you want, prioritize your goal. And I will only say one thing, never, never, never leave just because of the compensation that you will think that you will get.
Okay.
Build yourself, build your goals, build your structure, prioritize, and do what makes you, as Dimitris says, what makes you happy.
Anni?
I'd say we are perfectly equipped to work either here or abroad. It's a personal choice, but the international experience is indisputably the best thing that happened to my life. And if I wanted to conclude, I think living and working abroad it's worth all the hustle and the mother crying. But coming back or staying abroad, it always should be a conscious choice. You are in charge of your life, your career. You learn how to do that the older you get. It should always be a conscious choice. You make concessions either way, either living abroad or coming back to Greece. Just choose what you're gonna, the balance that you're gonna strike.
Dimitri?
Geography and actual physical thing will not be an issue in 5 to 10 years. So make a conscious decision, upskill and reskill, and build yourself for resilience, because you need to be able and sane to raise your kids or not, to do the things that you like and you can actually perform, and make choices even if you fail.
Stavros?
Use Quarkus.
Upskill.
Upskill, you said upskill, so I thought, sorry.
Matina, we're citizens of the world, right? And we're all in this together. Of course, Greece is a wonderful country. There are many, many wonderful countries out there. Shake it up. Live abroad. Live in Greece. Be good neighbors, locally and internationally. But have options. And build options, build resilience, because crises will keep coming. And we all enjoy that bitter feta taste with sweet karpouzi taste. I made that thing before you, that little joke. No, but I'm having fun here. I'm having fun. It's super difficult, super hard, but my wife says something really interesting all the time. It's the hard that makes it interesting. So, yeah, after Pomena.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you all. Thank you. Are we closing?
We need to close at some point,
So
right?
we're being evicted.
I would be very, very happy if you wanted to reach out to all these people, find them on our page. Their LinkedIn pages are there, so you can reach out directly to them. Thank you so much for being here. It's been a pleasure. I hope we will continue the cooperation on the next open conferences as well. Stavros, it's always a pleasure to have you with us. Thank you so
very
much
much for inviting me.
Thank you for the amazing organization.
Thank you, everybody. And thank you for staying so late to listen to us jabber.